Whenever Matt approaches me, I am always flattered to do this, to be here. I know what a privilege it is to be up here anytime just to speak about VBS, okay? Just to make an announcement about VBS and tell you that we're going to do this or we're going to do that. I know how important that is. So I don't take this lightly. And every time I kind of have an idea what I want to talk about. And I was talking to my wife this morning, and I said, I know what I want to talk about, but how I wanted to start changed about 80 times in the past 6 months. I've had this idea in my mind. I want to talk a little bit today about being lost, about our purpose, and I want to talk about what do we do when we feel that way. Our kids moved away, I don't remember how many years ago. It seems like an eternity because Griffin feels like she's about 25 and in college now, and she's not. She's going to be 16 next year. Be afraid, be very afraid. We're headed down, one of the trips that we took down there. I'm from where they moved. So you would think of all the people in the car, I would have the best route. I know where I'm headed. Headed to the St. Louis area. I've been there my whole life. I know where to go. I know if I get lost where to go. We're driving down there for like the third time, and I told her, I said, there's got to be a better way. And if you're lost today, what do you use? GPS on your phone. Jamie and I were talking this week about how to get to St. Charles, and I sent her pictures from my GPS. My wife and I are in the middle of Jacksonville, Illinois. And I said, we're stopping at this gas station and we're getting a map. The three of you have probably not seen a map in your lives. I would be willing that you two have not seen a map either. Maybe you have, because your mom and dad are kind of close to my age. But a map, an actual paper map. Have you ever picked one of those things up and tried to fold it back after you? It is impossible. How many of you have been to a mall? A mall that has like shopping mall. They have maps in there. They're not fold-up ones though, right? All of them have where everything is. I obviously want to know where the pizza places are. I want to know where the dessert places are. Probably the shoes and the hats. That's pretty much kind of my thing. That's it. But if you want to find out, you have to look at the map and find out where you are. And when you see it, you're like, okay, now I can go from, okay, I'm on this spot. There's an atlas right there. Steve Nevergall is holding up an atlas. He's got a book of maps. That's fantastic. Thank you, Steve. That's very, see, sometimes it all just works out, doesn't it? Whenever you see that, you're like, okay, I know where I'm at. And you make a plan to where you want to go. As it turns out, the GPS was doing a very good job, and I had no idea what I was talking about. And I bought a map and wasted money and still can't fold that thing back the way that it was originally to put it away for another time. The map at the mall, however, I can see where I'm going, but you can't take that map with you, right? You got to go, okay, I know that Orange Julia's is here and Wetzel's Pretzels is down here. Where are the escalators again? And it's fine until you walk away. And then you're like, were the escalators on the left or on the right? Silly, kind of, right? It's silly to think that you got a GPS in your pocket. Why wouldn't you use that instead of the map? Sometimes in our lives, we can say, Mom, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. I do. And we do that with our Heavenly Father sometimes too. And I want to talk about that this morning. If you have your Bibles with you or you have your devices with you, we're going to be in Luke chapter 15. We're going to read about the prodigal son. But it's not a story just about him. I want to make sure that we understand that before we go in. And you guys, I want you to know this is about all of us. In Luke chapter 15 and verse 11, I'm going to read it from here. There, I can do this. Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. So he divided his property between them. So he went and hired himself, he went and hired himself out. That's not the right verse. I don't know where that is at. Where we skipped part of it or something there. Is there three of them there? No, that's not it. We'll go back up here. I think I messed it up. That's my fault, Chris, not yours. Matt put him in there, but I'm not blaming him. He's on vacation, so we'll just do it the way that I was doing it. Where are we at? See, everything, you can make plans, doesn't matter. Okay. So he divided the stuff up between them. It said not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had, and he set off for a distant country and squandered all the wealth with wild living. After he spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him to the fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. And then when he came to his senses, there we go. When he came to his senses, he thought to himself, how many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you, and am no longer, no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me one of your hired servants. Any of you in this room today that have been saved know what that feels like. Any of you that haven't, you will. Hopefully. We pray for you every day. I find myself being very, very familiar with this part of the story. Doesn't matter how far away I get from the day that I was saved, I'm still here. I remember it. I remember how I felt, how alone I felt, and realized that Jesus was there the whole time. It's a common story, right? Young person thinks they're owed something. They take it. We're going to blame it on the young one, right? That's what we're going to do. As the older I get, the more the young people get blamed for stuff, it seems like. But we're saying, well, look, they just wasted it all. That's what we tell every kid that we give them something, and they're like, they're just going to waste it. He did. I remember making a phone call to my parents when I was 25, and I did not tell my dad that I wanted half of everything that we had or a third of everything that we had, because I don't know that 30 cents would have done me much good. We were not rich people by any stretch of the imagination. This kid was obviously better off than my parents were. But I also remember calling them later and saying, I'm really sorry that I was as difficult as I was. I realized I was kind of a pain. It wasn't anything about kind of. It really, I was just not fun to be around. And I apologize for that. But this young man had to go all the way to where he was eating with pigs. And pigs will eat anything. You may think to yourself, well, I didn't get as far as he did. Or you may think, I'm a lot further away than he is. I'm well beyond eating with pigs. Excuse me. The greatest lie that I think is that I hear anymore is that I'm too far from God. You're not. You may think you are. You may feel like you are. You may think to yourself, I can't get any further. Guess what? He can still reach you. He found this young man in a pit with animals that he, in the Old Testament, said were unclean. Don't touch them. Boy, it's going to be one of those days. You're never too far from God, so I don't want to hear that excuse. It's not going to fly with me, because I've been far. And God's brought me back. It said that he came to the realization that his sin had separated him from God and that he needed to seek forgiveness. Is that how you feel today? Do you feel like you need to seek forgiveness? If you feel that way today, you are in good company, because you are in a room full of people that need to seek forgiveness, needed to seek forgiveness at one time, and still do. And he came to the realization that hopefully every single one of us comes to in our lives is that we're to serve. We're not here for a participation medal. We're not here for anything other than to serve God. Jesus came to prepare a place. Jesus left to prepare a place. He came here to set up his kingdom. Since the day that he set up his kingdom, that the day he was born, he's been in service. The question is, what part of the service are you going to be? It's not a matter of whether or not you get to choose. We don't always get to choose. Not everybody's going to be up here preaching. Not everybody's going to be up here singing. I can tell you right now, thank you to the kids that came up here, because the last thing you wanted to see was me doing the motions and trying to keep up with the words. I am not good at it. I told Lorelei a long time ago, whenever we were doing this, do not watch me, because you will be off by several steps. God has a calling for you. He has a place that he wants you to serve. Are you ready to serve? After the child comes to this natural spot in Luke chapter 15 and verse 20, he's like, I'm going home. And this part right here gets me every single time, so I will try the best that I can. So he got up and went to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion and ran to his son and threw his arms around him and kissed him. And the son immediately went into, Father, I have sinned against you in heaven, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him, and bring a ring and put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is now found. And they began to celebrate. I don't really know how to elaborate on this and make this any more powerful than it is. God is ready. He is looking. You aren't too far away. I can yell that at the top of my lungs and it won't make one bit of difference because it is the absolute truth. I can say it quietly. I can say it loudly. It doesn't matter. He's there and you are not too far away. I love the part where it says, while he was still a long way off. I don't know what it looks like. In my mind, it's a father with like binoculars, doing everything he can to look to see, where is my child? I love this picture that Matt put up here. I don't know if it does it justice online or if you can actually see it or not, but Father is reaching for his son, and his son is kneeling. We all have been there. I hope that you have. God is looking for us to come home. He loves us so much that he sent his son to die for us. He didn't come here to condemn the world. He came here to save it. If he loves us so much that he sent his son to die for us, how can you possibly let yourself believe that you're too far away? Don't allow yourself to feel that. And then he throws a party. And I'm not talking about chips and soda. He's having a party. You see that great big calf out there that we've been waiting for? Let's get that sucker on the grill. Let's do this. Let's have a party. In the two parables that Jesus speaks about in Luke chapter 15 before this, there was a lost sheep. And when that sheep came home, that shepherd had a party. He went and got him and he brought him home, and they were excited. And when that widow lost that penny, she had a party to throw for a penny. God and heaven rejoice when we come to him. That does not make any sense to me as a human being at all. Why would God want to celebrate me? Who am I? Nobody. But those are the people that God wants. He wants nobodies. Guess what? When we come in and we become servants, all I want to be is Jesus wherever I go. And I'm going to look you all right now and tell you, that don't happen all the time. I need to be Jesus everywhere I go. I'm an ambassador. My job is, it should say Jesus. I should be like one of those NASCAR drivers. They get out of the car and they got all these like ads everywhere. It ought to just say Jesus. That's how it ought to look. That's how our lives ought to look. I'm already going longer than I expected, so we're going to keep on trucking here. Luke chapter 15 and verses 25 through 32. This is a little long, and I'm a little slow of a reader, so be patient with me. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. We're having a party, remember? Older son's in the field. Meanwhile, the older son is in the field. While he came near the house, he heard music and dancing, and he was so happy, right? No, he was not happy. So he called one of the servants, didn't even go inside. And he asked him, what is going on? It says, your brother's come home. And your father's killed the fattened calf, and because he has him back safe and sound. I know I messed part of that up. The older brother became happy. He was angry. Anybody that's got a brother or sister understands that. And refused to go in. So the father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered and said, look, for all these years, I've been slaving for you, and I've never disobeyed your orders, and yet you have never gave me a young goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him. My son, the father said, you will always be with me, and everything I have is yours. But we have to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost, but now he's found. Heaven celebrates. Do all of us? Do we? I don't know that we all do all the time. I know what it's like to come to church on a day that you don't necessarily feel like it. There are going to be days that you're going to have that you don't feel good, that you're not in the right space. I've come here on those days, and my wife has sat in the car on those days and went, why did we bother coming if you're going to complain the whole time? I can relate to both brothers. I'm scared about being this brother. Where are we at in our lives? It's possible that this brother felt like he'd done his job. He'd raised in stature. He was worthy of a party. He forgot he already had one. God came. They had a party whenever he was saved. They rejoiced in heaven. And he's looking for more. I want more. The second son was already serving and felt like maybe he wasn't getting the attention that he deserved, or that his brother was getting more than him. We have to be careful with that. We can push a lot of people away with that kind of attitude. Those people can live in our house or be in the car on the way home. We have to be careful with we have to ask God to help us with things like that. We can't let jealousy affect our relationship with one another or God. That doesn't mean that from time to time things aren't going to pop up in our lives where we're going to feel like we're not being paid attention to. I think it's important for us to remember God sent his son to die on the cross for us. Jesus died for us. He rose again the third day, and he's in heaven right now. What more could we ever want? My back is getting tired, so I'm going to sit for a minute. The Father is waiting. And I want to ask you, have you committed to him yet? Have you drifted from the path that was set before you? Are you thinking too much about yourself and not enough about him? Are you ready to serve? By the way, those are things maybe we should ask ourselves every day before we get out of bed. Are we ready to serve? Because some days it's hard. Some days it's like, I don't want to get out of here. Some days it's, I've had enough. I'm tired. And we can let that get in the way of our lives. So we've got our map. We know where we are now. Everybody in here, as you're listening, I'm sure knows where you are. Maybe you're running away. Maybe you're standing still and you need to get on the move. Maybe you're moving forward, but there are days when you need to be reminded what you're moving forward for. We're moving forward so that the first son, we can help get him home. We want to be the people at the party celebrating. Where are you at in your faith? Are you running from him? Are you standing still? Are you moving forward? How will, or who will you choose to follow today? Yourself or God? Will you take the map that you have in your hand, or will you use him to guide you? The map he's given us is the Bible. And he's put a lot of special people inside this building that know a lot about it, a lot more than I do. If you have questions, this is a great place to find answers. Have you thought, today's the day I'm moving with him today? I'm no longer going to be stagnant. I'm going to move with him. You've got two choices. Will you serve or will you run? It's time to stop running away from him and run towards him. Run with him. He is waiting for us. We just need to move toward him. And I cannot stress to you enough, it does not matter how far away you think you are, God sees you. If you come to Vacation Bible School in a couple of weeks, you're going to find out that God sees you. You can't hide from him, and you can't get out of his reach. He knows where you are. He sent his son to die for you. There's one more verse that I put up there, and for some reason on my transferred notes, I don't have it. It says, verily, very truly, you see, this is the King James version of me just got out. Sorry. This is the NIV version. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a message greater than the one who sent him. If you just leave that up there for a minute, Chris, thank you. John chapter 13 and verse 16. At each end of the church here, we have the bulletins, and then we have these little daily devotionals that are set out. I've taken them home before. I can't tell you how many times I've cracked them open. But I've been pretty discouraged lately. Been trying to push myself. And I opened one of them up. And every day it gives you verses to read. It gives you a devotion to read. And some days admittedly, I'm like, that devotion wasn't the best one for me or whatever, or it was a good devotion. It just wasn't something that, whatever. And then at the bottom, It tells you to read the Bible through in a year, and it gives you chapters and verses to read. And I've been thinking about this message for a long time. And then that verse is in one of the daily readings. I've been trying to do it every day. And I'll tell you right now, there's some parts that are tough. This person begat that person, begat that person. It's not all going to be Jesus said, or David killed, or David did, or the nation of Israel did. There's going to be times when it's tough to read. It's not easy. But then there's going to be times when you're like, this is exactly why I put this book in your house. This is exactly why we have the Bible, because no servant is greater than his master. No message is greater than the one who sent him. Jesus died for you. Period. End of sentence. It does not matter where you think you are in life, how great you think you are, or how bad you think you are. Jesus died for the world, not parts of it, not the parts that we think that he died for. He died for all of us. And I want to say one more thing before I go. And you're all like, thank goodness, it's almost 11:30. What are you doing? Two years ago, I fell. And I've been like this the whole time. My wife knows better than me, knows better than you guys do, where I've been at emotionally, spiritually. And there are days when this is all, God's got it all. And this week, we definitely put it in God's hands and was like, okay, here's the thing. I'm standing up here today, and I stood a lot longer than I have in a long time because of the prayer in this building. Because of the prayer of that woman that, for some unknown reason, God has put in my life and has loved me more than I deserve. And this church has loved me too. And I've talked about, when I first came here, I didn't want to be in this building. I was running. And God goes, no, you're here. And I want to thank you, Steve, yesterday for calling. I got worried when I saw it was your number because I was like, Pastor's not here, and it's something that I don't know how to do. He was calling to see how I was doing and if I was going to be okay tomorrow, and if a bunch of people came up to the altar, if I knew what to do. Folks, that's not being the second brother. That's being the first brother. That's being the brother that is ready to serve. There are going to be days that you are going to be like, it hurts to go in today. But the person God has sent you to be there for might be there. I don't know if what happened to me had a purpose other than God just needed to bring me down a peg or realize how important He was in my life, or to make me realize just how much I am loved at my house. And I don't know that what happened on Wednesday is going to make it all better. But I know the person who made the people, who made the device that made that surgery happen. God is in control. He's good, and we need to be ready to serve and to follow Him.